lack, Phil. Lack of
It started already.
preparation.
Greetings, viewer. Welcome to Full Record Jackets with Phil and Ben. And the jackets are full of records because it's Ben's latest vinyl. So
It is. And now,
also promised me that there's at least one act in here that I've heard of. So
well, you've heard of two acts, but you would have only have heard one of the albums. So the first album that turned up this week, took a chance on it. I've got to admit, don't know anything about him. He's a Danish producer. He's called Rune Rask. And he's out of one of Denmark's most established and well-respected award-winning producers. And he's one of the three members of Denmark's biggest hip-hop act. Now, I'm not being funny. I never sort of associated Denmark with hip-hop. But, and I think they're called Suspect. And he's been creating music for 20 years. And he's done tracks with Kendrick Lamar and Akon. And it is this guy here, who is Rune Rask.
It's like Snoop Dogg.
He does. And it is called Face Yourself, the album.
Well, it looks like a view through a window of an Indian temple while Snoop Dogg's visiting that front cover.
It does.
Basically.
It does. Not Celine Dion this time.
No.
So I've not listened. I've obviously with all these albums, I do listen to a couple of tracks before I make the purchase. So I have listened to a couple. It's not my, it's not something I would go and seek out unless online sites sort of give me heavy discounts. But it's a bit of electronic house, something different. It's got a pretty cool album cover. So that one's in the collection. So we've got that one. Right, now I'm going to bring it because I don't know how to pronounce this band, so you're going to have to bear with me while they're called Auri, A-U-R-I. Is that Auri?
Auri, I don't know.
Yeah,
Auri, maybe.
They're apparently a progressive folk rock project. Featuring members of another band called Nightwish, or from Nightwish. I'm just going to find out whereabouts they're from. Oh, they're Finnish. So I'm going full Scandinavian here, and it's called Those That We Don't Speak Of. I thought they were Irish because it's green and, racially stereotyping, but it's actually on a very nice, I don't know if you can see that, Philster, gold vinyl.
Right.
I don't know if that makes any difference. I did read somewhere that the colour of vinyl can affect the quality of the sound. Is that true?
Yeah, some people think that. I don't know how true that is. I think some people think I think the view is that the colours are not as good as just standard black. I think
black
that's
vinyl, yeah.
Or even, was it the case that the black people think clear is, but I can't remember, to be honest. I'm not sure I'd be able to tell the difference myself, but... So that's a little bit of folk world country sort of vibe to it. I quite enjoyed it. I thought, like I said, I thought they were Irish because it's got that sort of Celtic sort of feel to it. So, but anyway, next up, 2 to go. One you would have heard, one you haven't, but you've heard of the band, and I keep telling you to listen to them, and you haven't because you're rubbish. And this was a birthday present from my brother, the second favourite son of my parents. And it is the new album by Elbow, or Audio Vertigo, on a lovely blue-coloured vinyl. And that's a cool album cover. I quite like that album cover. I've listened to a couple of the singles off of it, which are Baloo and Lover's Leap. Very Elbow, very... Like I said, I haven't opened it yet. I haven't listened to the whole thing. But I still think you should go and listen to Elbow. I should listen more to Elbow, yeah.
Yeah. I think you'll enjoy them lyrically and sonically, which are two big things when it comes to listening to music, I think. So, yeah. So that there, and now this one. Now this, I think with some fans of this band, this album has in some quarters maybe caused a little bit of controversy. Some people don't like it. I like it, and that's all that matters. And I think you like it from our discussions on this before. But it's that one there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which I really enjoy this album.
I think most Beatles fans do like that. I mean, there may be a set of purists who objected to the mashup, but even some people who are not so keen on Giles Martin doing new mixes of the classic albums, the original albums, I think a lot of people did just enjoy that because it was a mashup. It wasn't supposed to be, it wasn't supposed to be remaking the albums. It was just, this is the soundtrack to the circus show, and we're going to mash things up and do something different. I thought it's an interesting listen because you just hear bits of different songs mashed around, and you're trying to work out. Well, I've heard that before, but that's not normally part of this song. Where's that come from? So it's you can do a lot of nerdy spotting bits of songs.
You do nerdy things, Phil. I find that very, very
Would you
hard
believe
to believe.
that? Could you believe it?
I know, but I really enjoyed this when it came out. Was it about mid-2000s? About 2005?
I think it was 2006. Oh, was 06, I think.
Actually, I might have if I read the back. It'll have it on here. This is a 2007. Oh, yeah, 2006. I think I got it as a Christmas present. Not this, but I think I got it on this CD around 2006, 2007. So, but yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed this album, and for some, it could be a good gateway album into the Beatles because it kind of, like you say, gives you little bits of.
It would be weird.
Big songs.
It would be weird to hear that before you got into the Beatles because it's just like having your mind arranged the wrong way to me. It's kind of
but
odd.
that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? You could listen to this and then go straight into like Tomorrow Never Knows and be like, wow.
Yeah. Yes, of course, because on there's Tomorrow Never Knows drum beats on Within You Without You, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
Yeah. For a minute I thought you were going to say, on there is Phil Collins' version of Tomorrow Never Knows, which I would have set fire to this. But no, I think if you're a kid, if you're like 6 or 7, this is quite a good, because it's quite, like I say, it's fun. And like I said, there's a little bits of, because it's not, it's a little bit quirky. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I guess there are kids, probably are kids that have got into the Beatles through hearing that album. Their parents possibly had it or whatever, and they've got into it that way.
Well, depressing thing is, if they were 6 or 7 when this came out, they're now a lot older than that. They're now 24, 25 years old, and hopefully gone out and bought the Beatles back catalogue.
You never know, hopefully.
So I do like this album. I think it's very good. So, and I got it at a really good price. It has got, unfortunately, I don't know if you can see it down there, a little bit creasing in this corner here, but I can live with that. I might put this on later when well, actually, no. Later on, I know I've got Born Without Bones by Dancer behind me, but I've been listening to this all week, Higamus Hogamus, which is really good. I've got to say, I've had it on, and if Chris and the Big Sugars is listening, you've got some competition for weird. It's very good. It's a really good album, and I've had it. Like I said, I've had it on all week, but I think this week I've still got to listen in full properly to the Liam Gallagher John Squire album. That's still on my list to listen to, but I might do that in the car. But I will be definitely listening to this week because I do love Elbow. Didn't like him at the start when I first heard him. I used to, after a Saturday night out, I used to go around to my mate Bushpig's house after our night out, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we would listen. Well, he would put on Asleep at the Back, the debut album by Elbow, and I was like, this isn't Oasis. This is quite melodramatic and, self-reflective. But as I've got older, I'm like, oh, yes, I really enjoy that. My younger self was a moron. Handsome, but an absolute moron all the same. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be listening to this week anyway, after Higamus Hogamus. And I'm quite happy with this week's haul. And I will say, because you know what I'm like, I'm not going to buy any more, but there are 2 in the pipeline. Now, one's a birthday present So I'm allowed that. And one is one that I ordered ages ago. They didn't have it in stock, and I forgot all about it, and it's finally been dispatched. So there we go.
What can you do?
But Phil, if you want to know something good, in the boot of my car is about 32 albums, because I've had an album cleanse of the albums that I don't need anymore. Like, I've had 3 copies of Double Fantasy. Don't need 3 copies. Don't need 2 copies of Don McLean's American Pie, so that's going.
You had a triple double fantasy.
I had 2 copies of Julio Iglesias, the Farty album, and so they're going. So I found one of them, and then I'm getting rid of things like, because people have given me records over time, things like Barbra Streisand and Dionne Warwick and anything. I don't know why, but you might be able to sort of bring me round. But Diana Ross, just a thought of, I like doing the Billie Holiday film, but I just can't bring myself to listen to anything by it. So all the Diana Ross stuff I've got is going to the record shop.
Have you not got the Nile Rodgers produced Diana album from early 80s?
Possibly.
Upside Down. And I'm coming out on it, and that's the...
Yeah, but they're the songs I really hate. Upside Down.
That was the funky period where she was a bit of a comeback. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. I'll try and mute the mic.
Oh, God. Look at him. Oh, just everywhere. Was it from about... I had Diana Ross duets, greatest hits, The Force Behind the Power, Diana and Marvin. No, it's Dolly Parton. So yeah, I've got rid of Diana Ross. So, and Country Christmas, a few things like that, and I had the Women of Coombe Abbey. You're still on mute, Philster. You're talking to yourself, aren't you? Oh dear.
Am I back now?
Oh, all right, Grandad. Do you want me to show you to rewind the video?
If you could.
I've got something to show you as well. Guess what I got this week? You talk about what you were just going to say, and I'm going to go and get something that links into what we were talking about last week. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I must admit, I don't listen really very much to Diana Ross. I like some of the Supremes' early stuff. Enjoy the odd single. Is there a Diana Ross album, listeners? Let me know. Is there a great Diana Ross album of the 70s that I should have listened to? I don't know.
There isn't. I can tell you that now, Philster. I think my dislike for Diana Ross stems from my father, Mr. Country and Western himself, who he's obviously got strange things when it comes to music. I think I've told you before, he has this thing in his head that he thinks Madonna's breath smells like oranges. And he went to see Diana Ross live.
Yeah.
And all she kept saying was, I love you, I love you, I love you all. You know, that pseudo-American stupidness. And I think that's just always put me off. So, but guess what came this week? It's music related, but it's not music. And it links back to our discussion last week when you got E.T. completely confused with Celine Dion.
Okay, so you've got some more popsicle things, whatever they're called. What are they called?
Yeah. These came on my birthday. My partner and her son bought me one each. Well, they originally bought me the Liam and Noel Gallagher ones, but I already had them, so they got sent back. So I've got 2 more, and they are linked. Can you think who they are? They're linked in the fact that they're both no longer with us and died quite quickly. They died. Well, they didn't die quickly, but they within quite a a time frame of each other.
Okay, so are these 2 all-time big legends, big stars
in their genre? Yeah,
big artists. Okay, and they both died. Are they both considered very influential on music and very?
Yeah, and they didn't die from health reasons. Their lives were taken from them.
Oh, okay.
Through an act of violence.
Oh, crikey! Well, I was going to go with David Bowie and Prince, but that's obviously not.
No,
down the wrong tunnel there.
No, yeah.
Was one of them John Lennon?
No, because as you already know, I've got the John Lennon ones already.
You've already got some John Lennon ones.
Yeah. Think 90s, mid 90s.
Okay. So it must be if they've died in an act of violence, it's got to be rappers then. So
it is rappers.
So it's Tupac, and who was the other one? Was it Notorious B.I.G.? Was it him?
Look at that. Okay, that's Tupac, obviously. Look at him, and got his little hat on. I think this is from the film Juice. I think his outfit here.
He doesn't look much different to the Snoop Dogg.
He does. He's got a hat on.
Yeah. Okay.
And Big Air,
Ready to Die.
Well, he's already dead. But look at him. Look at him. There's some. He is cool, isn't he? So I got these little things. Yes, I know I'm a 45-year-old man who's got dolls, but they are quite...
But if you change the crown on the top of Notorious B.I.G. and give him a trumpet, he could be Miles Davis in the 70s.
He could be, or Louis Armstrong.
He could be Louis Armstrong. He could be,
Sun Ra. So I got these this week. I know they're not music related. But they are music related, but they're not playable music. And so I just thought I'm not going to make any funny jokes about Celine Dion this week because I mentioned that to my mother and she hadn't seen the video. And she went, "You can't take the mickey out of Celine Dion. She's not been very well." And I said, "Wasn't me, it's Phil." And then I showed her the video and then it turned out it was me. And so I apologise to Ms. Dion if she's watching, and I know she is. I didn't mean to compare you to the Funko Pop of E.T., but I compared you to it. It was actually Phil. And I don't know which side of the screen he's on, but he's on this. It was actually Phil who actually had to double take to convince himself that it was E.T. So actually, Phil is worse than me, Miss Dion. And I do apologise.
We'll await the communication from the Canadian lawyers. In the meantime, thanks for watching that, viewer. All the best. Take care.
Bye.